From people being angry at Chris for dressing up as a helicopter, to the vegan teacher claiming that MrBeast was promoting violence by not having pineapple on his largest slice of pizza, these are the absolute dumbest attempts to cancel MrBeast, and it all begins with an image of a helicopter from back in 2014. Remember when people were going around making the joke that they identify as an Apache attack helicopter? It was a meme that began back in 2014 when a user on Reddit posted a deliberately ridiculous paragraph reading, "I sexually identify as an attack helicopter. People say to me that a person being a helicopter is impossible, but I don't care, I'm beautiful. I'm having a plastic surgeon install rotary blades, 30mm cannons and AMG 114 Hellfire missiles on my body. If you can't accept me, you're a heliphobe and need to check your vehicle privilege. Thank you for being so understanding." Well, MrBeast and Chris incorporated this copy pasta word for word in a 2016 video.
People say to me that a person being a helicopter is impossible. I'm having a plastic surgeon install rotary blades.
It's time to live my dream. She's just staring at me. Hey girl, you want some attack helicopter?
I was actually born a tank, but sadly it wasn't one of our 52 genders.
And if we take the joke and rank it on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being least offensive and 10 being most offensive, it probably wouldn't even hit 1 on the scale because the only thing at the brunt of the joke is a flying metal vehicle. Yet, because they were making a joke about identifying as something other than their normal selves, some of Twitter's finest would call the video out over 4 years after it was originally posted. MrBeast exposed for what some fans have called a transphobic video. In a now deleted 2016 video, MrBeast says, "I was born a tank, but sadly it wasn't one of our 52 genders." The claim that this was distasteful was clearly ridiculous, and the comments supported such. Where's the transphobia? In their imaginations. I didn't know about the discrimination attack helicopters face till now. Chill, the video was obviously a meme. Don't try to cancel one of the best people on the planet because they made a video about being an attack helicopter. Literally so many people would be cancelled for nothing. What was even funnier was that the people who were supposed to be offended by the video weren't even offended by it. As a trans person, I found this so funny at the time and I still do. It's honestly so sad people get mad over stuff like this. It's obviously a joke. LMAO, my transgender sibling was laughing so hard at this. After reading the comments, I was glad to discover that I'm not the only trans person who thought his joke was funny. Yet these comments didn't stop the original person who was trying to cancel MrBeast, who would continue with this excellent piece of investigative journalism by DMing MrBeast and Chris before stating, "Hi MrBeast, hope you're doing well. I was recently sent a video where you and your friend Chris Tyson make some seemingly transphobic remarks. Chris says he identifies as a helicopter. You make some remarks about gender. It's a video from 2016. Can you comment?" The whole thing was best summarized by the commentary channel Memify.
Genuine question. How are you this sensitive to humor? Even just a joke about attack helicopters offends them this badly.
And while this cancellation attempt was extremely petty, it was nothing compared to another which would happen at a later date, this new one being so dumb that even PewDiePie jumped in to defend MrBeast. It began in November 2021 after the incredibly popular Squid Game video was posted, and MrBeast revealed that the entire production had cost upwards of $3.5 million, which included a prize of $456,000 for the winner of the video. Now this meant that the format wasn't much different to any of his other challenge style videos. He puts up a bunch of money in the beginning, various people compete for it, and whoever wins is rewarded with a pretty hefty payday. However, for some reason in the case of Squid Game, the success of the video seemed to trigger the response that the money should have instead been donated to charity. I'm sure that money couldn't possibly have benefited anyone else. Imagine using this money to actually help those who need that, not for fun. You could have just donated the $1.5 million. Now this argument makes a lot of sense as an extremely basic surface level idea. However, when you factor in a little thing known as reality, it crumbles pretty damn quickly. Firstly, it's infuriating because it can be applied to any amount of money. Oh, you got ice cream on the weekend and got 2 scoops? Why didn't you get 1 scoop and donate the rest to charity? Oh, you bought a new car? Why didn't you buy a second-hand car and donate the rest to charity? The fact that it's valid in all situations with any amount of money makes it a never-ending loop of why didn't you just spend less and donate the rest to charity? And to say that it's different in MrBeast's case just because it's a larger sum of money shows immaturity and that the people making these claims haven't thought through the problem in its entirety. The claim also displays an embarrassing level of ignorance about MrBeast's long-term vision, as it fails to take into account that the money invested in the Squid Game video will go on to earn more money, which over the long run will more than likely end up in the hands of the quote-unquote less fortunate. In the month that the Squid Game video was posted, MrBeast gained close to 10 million subscribers, and with MrBeast's main message being one of helping others, how can we be so sure that those inspired by his message wouldn't donate more than $3.5 million to charity themselves over the long run? So sure, he could take the whole $3.5 million and dump it into a charity, but at the end of the day, it's simply a poor short-term strategy. The other problem with these people putting pressure on MrBeast to give money to charity is that they probably don't even donate money themselves. Getting to the point where you're comfortable giving money away requires an unbelievable amount of personal development. That's why it's a respectable thing to do. And the people who have reached this point of being charitable are not the same people who spend their life on Twitter calling out MrBeast for being a bad person. Thankfully, almost everyone echoed this sentiment. He gives a lot of money away, and through this method he can generate future revenue to help more people. I think he's done a hell of a lot more for the people than you have. Grow up. Look at his channel and tell me he doesn't help people. Grow up. Let this man spend his money however he pleases. The cancellation attempt was so pathetic that even PewDiePie uploaded a stream highlight in defense of MrBeast.
People were like, oh, you spent all this money like doing this when you could have just like fed the hungry or some shit like that. He spent $2 million building Squid Game, and people are like, well, he's not doing enough. This is the problem with Twitter. Like, people shouldn't have opinions.
Yet neither PewDiePie or MrBeast was safe from the next person who would attempt the most brain-dead cancellation attempt of them all, that vegan teacher. It began on the 2nd of August 2021 when, out of the blue, that vegan teacher would upload a new video titled, MrBeast, no amount you give to charity can undo the damage you are causing by promoting eating meat. Now we need to preface this section by explaining that being provocative is the vegan teacher's main method of growth. Her formula is simple. She picks a beloved influencer such as Gordon Ramsay, PewDiePie, or Darman, then goes out of her way to frame them as anti-vegan in any way possible. This in turn gives the commentary community a reason to talk about her, providing her with growth through controversy, in a similar way to Jellybean or Wings of Redemption, and with this in mind, it's hardly surprising that the vegan teacher would eventually come for MrBeast. She'd begin by reviewing his I ate a $70,000 golden pizza video by stating that there are millions of children starving around the globe, and that instead of buying an expensive pizza, the $70,000 would have been better spent solving world hunger.
But before we watch him eat a $70,000 pizza, let's look into the eyes of this child. There are millions of children around the world who are starving to death. $70,000 could buy a lot of food.
Only this started the vegan teacher's argument on poor footing, as it failed to include the fact that 5 months prior, MrBeast had begun Beast Philanthropy, with the first 4 out of 5 videos on the channel doing exactly what the vegan teacher was complaining about, feeding people without access to food. Do more research. He has donated millions to the hungry and the homeless. He's also one of the biggest philanthropists on here. Vegan teacher, those $70,000 could have gone towards feeding starving children. Also her, he bought everything in a store and donated it to charity or whatever, but that doesn't matter. He literally has a food bank to give food to families that can't afford it. Meanwhile, the vegan teacher was doing absolutely nothing to help solve world hunger herself. When you search up that vegan teacher charity, unsurprisingly nothing comes up, with her only attempt at feeding the hungry being her complaining about others not feeding the hungry. Upon visiting her Patreon, it states, each donation, big or small, helps to sustain me so I can devote more time and resources to helping save the animals by educating others about not eating, wearing, or using them, which roughly translates to something like, the money will go directly into my bank account and I'll continue to make videos framing decent people as evil anti-vegans, which is what she would do to MrBeast as her first video continued to roll. The vegan teacher's next criticism was that MrBeast didn't specify whether or not each item of food was vegan.
$5,000 taco.
Are they vegan tacos made with beans and vegan cheese?
This is $1 pizza.
Is that vegan cheese?
This is a $2 hot dog.
Is that a vegan hot dog?
Yet when you think about it for a couple of minutes, this would actually be an incredibly dumb thing for MrBeast to do, as it would set an impossibly high standard for future videos. For example, if MrBeast attempted to appeal to the vegans once by stating that he was eating vegan food, he'd run the risk of backlash in future videos, as the audience could now use leverage against him by stating, oh, you were eating vegan food before, why didn't you continue doing so, ironically making the consumption of meat less controversial. Additionally, while vegans have a reputation for being quite vocal, according to the data, only 2% of the US population is vegetarian, and out of that, only 0.5% of the population is vegan, and therefore making content to appeal to vegans would be a poor strategy, when MrBeast has stated on numerous occasions that his goal is to simply reach the widest audience possible. The vegan teacher would then go on to state that MrBeast's video of him eating different foods worth different amounts of money was promoting violence and destroying the environment.
MrBeast, unfortunately, I have given you so many X's here for promoting the violence, for not talking about the environment.
Before going on to state that he needed to become a vegan animal rights activist in order to undo the non-existent damage.
You need to go back and undo the damage that that you've done. The first thing that you can do, Mr. Beast, number 1, is become vegan. Number 2, become an animal rights activist for the rest of your life. Tell people that the videos that you've done in the past, including this one, that you're ashamed of and that you wish you had never done them.
Which was concluded by the vegan teacher demanding Mr. Beast apologize in her comment section.
Mr. Beast knows about my channel here. Make sure that he subscribes and that he joins me in the comment section to tell me that he's going to change.
Unsurprisingly, the vegan teacher never got the apology. However, one thing she did receive on the video was an impressive dislike ratio of 96.4%, alongside comments such as, "He literally spends most of his money saving the world and helping others. The amount of money he donated to people in need and to plant trees is more than you can make in 100 years. Beast is a legend, he doesn't deserve this." However, with the vegan teacher's video receiving more views than any of her other uploads, only 6 days later she'd post another video attempting to cancel Mr. Beast, this time titled @MrBeast Stop Paying for Animal Abuse, in which she'd go on to call Mr. Beast out for not specifying whether or not the base of the ice cream they were eating was vegan.
But what is the base made out of? Is the base made out of something vegan? I don't know what you're eating. It's some sort of cake, but you didn't. So I'm gonna put another X because you're not saying specifically that it's vegan.
2 weeks after this statement, the vegan teacher would upload a third video in which she'd state that Mr. Beast was again promoting violence, this time by not having fruit and vegetables on his pizza in the "I ate the world's largest slice of pizza" video.
Where is the pineapple? X. What on earth? What is this pizza? There's not one single vegetable on there? Where are the mushrooms? Where's the spinach? Where's the broccoli? What else have you got on there? You have no green peppers? No hot peppers? That's not food? What is that? Is there even sauce on there? Is there even tomato sauce? X.
This was best summarized by a comment reading, "Someone needs to explain to the vegan teacher that putting vegetables on something doesn't make it vegan." However, this was still nothing compared to that vegan teacher's most outrageous comment of all 3 videos. She'd state that because Mr. Beast had a professional hot dog eater in his video, this was promoting the food poutine. Poutine has cheese in it, cheese comes from milk, and milk is taken from cows, and therefore Mr. Beast is promoting the act of stealing.
Why are you promoting people that eat large amounts of food?
And not only does he hold the world record for hot dogs eaten, but he has so many.
Did you even say vegan hot dog at all? What else do you got here? Poutine with cheese on it? Cheese comes from milk, which is stolen from mothers after their babies were taken from them. Do you think that kidnapping is okay, Mr. Beast? Kidnapping babies and stealing from them? Do you think that stealing is okay? Apparently you do.
Unsurprisingly, all 3 of the vegan teachers' attempts to cancel Mr. Beast failed miserably, as did the 2 we discussed earlier. In fact, there really hasn't been a single bit of Mr. Beast drama that's had the slightest effect on his reputation. His bulletproof public image and masterful management of controversy turn every cancellation attempt into water off a duck's back.